Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Justin, once again bringing you something that I love, and that is fajitas. And someone asked me, what's the difference between fajitas, tacos, burritos? And I just tried to explain to him, which after looking up information, I was a little bit wrong. But I told him it's all about the ingredients that you use and how you wrap up the tortilla. The taco basically fold in half. You can put anything in between. Traditionally, I always had meat, cheese, and tomatoes, lettuce, maybe a little bit of sour cream. For a burrito, you wrap it up completely. And you can fill it with beans or anything else. A fajita, though, I always tasted like everything was grilled. The vegetables, the bell peppers, and normally I would not put bell peppers in a taco or burrito, but I will put it in a fajita. So it comes down to the ingredients and how you wrap it and the way it's made. Whether I'm wrong or I'm right is based on what the restaurants where I come from offer. So let's get the process started. Now, like I said, with the fajitas, normally you'll try to grill these vegetables, you'll try to grill these meat with a nice on the stove top or on the actual grill. This time, though, I decided to put in the oven. And part of the reason was to make the process simpler, but it still tasted pretty good. So if you notice now, all I'm doing is just cutting the vegetables. I think the hardest part of this, since I am putting it in the oven, was the prep work and making sure everything is cut up, making sure everything is sliced, give it the right presentation. For the bell peppers, the thing you need to make sure you do is get rid of the seeds. If you're not a fan of spicy hot food, then you need to make sure you get rid of all the seeds whenever you're cooking, because every pepper that I've ever had, the pepper I can tolerate, but once I cook with the seeds, oh, it really brings up the heat. So if you can't stand the heat, make sure you get rid of all the seeds. Yeah. So as you notice, I'm just cutting up all the vegetables. I'm just putting it in the oven-proof safe dish as I go along. I cut all the bell pepper into strips. You want to make sure you have a lot of color, and that's where the color comes in. I had a green bell pepper, yellow bell pepper, red bell pepper, and I just mix them up. Now you see me prepping the garlic. Normally I would use it in my garlic press, but this time I'm just going to slice it up, the same as a tomato. I'm going to slice it up in thin slices, as well as, I'm trying to mince it as best I can with my knife, but yeah, I'm still working on my cutting skills. I'm getting better with every meal I make. My cutting skills do improve. This knife that I received it for my birthday, and it's proving to be quite handy. At first I was like, it doesn't matter the type of knife you have, as long as it's able to cut, you can cut. Well, there is a difference. When you have a knife that is very sharp, and it cuts through things very easily, it does save time, it does save prep, but at the end of the day, yes, if you have something that can cut, any knife would do. But once you start trying to step up your level, once you start stepping up your game, your skills will start to improve, and the better knife you have, the easier this will be. Tools do matter. The tools you use do matter. Now, as you can tell, I'm struggling with this onion a bit. Normally it doesn't happen, but overall I'm trying to show you that I'm learning. I'm making mistakes. You don't have to do everything perfect. I know every time you look up stuff, you look up the other cooks, and they're just doing everything so fast. They're able to cut this up, they're able to do that. They make it look so smooth and pretty. When you're starting off, you don't have to be at that level, and that is okay. The point is at the end result. What meal are you trying to make, and does it come out and look somewhat like you expected? But most importantly, does it taste like you were expecting? And that's what I'm getting to the point at. So I struggle with that onion. That doesn't happen every single time, but I did struggle with it a little bit. Let me take it back. I did not struggle. It took me longer than I was anticipating. It would normally take me to prepare it. I think the first time I ever ate a fajita was with my cousin Trey. He would always go to this restaurant called Mi Pueblitos in Hot Springs, and they would love to get fajitas. And I was always a taco fan. I was burrito. I think my favorite thing was a fried poblano, or chili relleno, however it's called, which is a fried poblano pepper, deep fried with cheese stuffed in it. I think it became my meal of choice. But then he'd always talk about how fajitas he would love to taste them. So I got them one day, and I will say I did quite enjoy it. And so every time I went to that restaurant, that's what I got. But when I went to the other Mexican restaurants, I would always stick with the fried poblano. So it's like, I feel like there's certain restaurants that do certain things better than others. And in certain restaurants, they had a nice one. They had chicken, they had beef fajitas, and then they had shrimp fajitas. And you could just mix it up though. And that's what I'll get the mix. And the topping would be the same, but it'll just be the mixture be mixed up. So, all right, notice I just cut up the chicken, and I'm adding it all to this one oven-proof safe dish. And this is what makes it simpler with this oven-proof safe dish, or cooking in the oven. I don't have to cook things separately, or I don't have to first cook the meat, cook the vegetables and then cook the meat. No, I'm putting everything in this one ingredient. I'm gonna add the seasoning, the oil, and then I'm just gonna mix it with my hand, and that's it. And then I'm gonna let it sit, let it marinate for at least an hour. You can let it marinate overnight. And I'm gonna put it in the oven the next day and just cook it and then have that meal that tastes very delicious. So you see me just adding these different seasonings. Now, in the recipe, I'm gonna always say a tablespoon. But I'm getting to the point with some seasonings, there is no exact amount. With some meals, there are some seasonings that you don't want too much of, like you probably never want too much salt. So you probably do want to measure it out. But then once you start to cook more, you start to notice about 10 twists of this, about 10 dabs of this, and this will be enough. And you get that taste. Now, if I was going for a restaurant style recipe, and I want to make sure it tastes exactly the same every single time, then yes, I will measure it out. But in this case, I'm getting good at cooking. I'm starting to get the look of, okay, after I pour about a teaspoon of this in, that's how it normally looks. So I'm starting to develop that eye. Most chefs have that eye, that natural instinct. I'm starting to develop that. And so I don't measure everything out. Now, if I was doing a cake, yes, I would. If I was doing a meal that I'd never done before, I measure it out exactly. But once you cook it a few times, I'm getting to the point where I can just visualize it. So, and there it is. There's my fajitas. It has a color, it has a look. Now I'm just making sure I put enough and wrapping it up a certain way. I know there wasn't a proper wrap way, but hey, I was ready to dive right into it. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe.